Hello, my name is Tina Langlois. I'm Internal Legal Counsel at the College of Medical Radiation Technologists of Ontario. This webinar is aimed at explaining the proposed bylaw number 60, which is currently being circulated for members for comment and input. Today's webinar, I hope to cover the following items: a little bit of background about why the bylaws are being amended, discuss the format of proposed bylaw number 60, provide some explanation regarding the transition period between the current bylaws and the new bylaw, discuss some of the proposed additions and changes and how the existing bylaws will be dealt with, and also discuss circulation and consultation, and encourage you to provide your input and suggestions related to the bylaw that's being proposed. So the CMRTO Council is responsible for making bylaws regarding the internal operations of the college, and as part of its operational plan for 2018, the Council committed to amending the bylaws of the college to improve transparency. In addition, on January 1st, 2018, the CMRTO began regulating diagnostic medical sonographers. As a result, bylaw amendments are required to incorporate this fifth specialty into the college. Council's goal with the new bylaw was to propose one consolidated bylaw that would replace all the existing bylaws. So proposed bylaw number 60 was approved by Council on June 15th, 2018 for circulation to members and stakeholders. The new proposed bylaw number 60 is written in plain language, uses gender-neutral terminology, and is otherwise in line with CMRTO's brand standards and reflects the current governance structure of the college. The bylaw is also formatted quite differently in that it now has a table of amendments which will track the amendments to the bylaw over time, a table of contents to allow readers to easily access the information they are looking for, a definition section that defines the terms used throughout the bylaw, and then the bylaw provisions themselves, which are the bulk of the document. In addition, there are placeholders in the proposed bylaw for hyperlinks to both legislation and policy, which will make that piece of the bylaw easier to navigate as well. The most important change to the bylaw is the transition period in order for Council to incorporate diagnostic medical sonographers into the college. The proposed bylaw reflects an evolving Council composition where the number of professional members is eventually reduced by one. Electoral districts will transition to facilitate the reduction of professional members, and the faculty member will no longer be elected, but rather will be an appointed position. This chart outlines the transition period whereby the current Council composition will transition to a composition of one electoral district per specialty, so 5 specialties, 5 electoral districts, a 6th electoral district which encompasses the entire province, that will be our member at large, and then an academic counselor or an appointed individual from those individuals who are faculty members within the college. The chart shows when this transition will happen in each of the current districts. It's important to note that the transition will not affect any current Council member's term of office, and so each individual who is currently serving will continue to serve until the end of their term. There are some proposed additions to proposed bylaw number 60. In regards to fees, although none of the fees are changed, there is no proposal to change any of the fees. They remain exactly as they are under the current bylaw. There are some additional provisions being proposed to assist with fee management. Firstly, there's a new section that allows the college to provide a prorated credit to individuals who resign prior to their birthday, provided that they are reinstated within 5 years of that date. That prorated credit can be applied to the fee when they reinstate. It's important to note that this is a credit and not a refund. Another fee management provision has been added to allow for a 14-day grace period prior to the late penalty taking effect on the annual fee. It allows for greater flexibility and allows staff to deal with legitimate extenuating circumstances that may result in a member paying a fee late. In addition, there are new eligibility criteria for running for counsel. So individuals who are employed by a professional association will no longer be eligible to run for counsel, whereas the previous bylaw only disqualified those who were directors or officers. So that is an addition. Some other things that are different, again, we have one large definition section, which hopefully allows for the terms used throughout the bylaw to be defined and easily understood. Section 4 deals with the composition of council during the transition period prior to us arriving at the final council composition. We have new rules of procedure that are being proposed in the bylaw as well. The electoral districts, as previously described, are also laid out in the bylaw in section 28.1, and the process for appointing the academic counselor is set out in section 29. The bylaw also proposes to defer to legislation wherever that is appropriate, and this is particularly related to information that will be appearing on the public register. The Regulated Health Professions Code in section 23 and in a regulation under the RHPA defines the information that's required to be on the public register. In CMRTO's proposed bylaw number 60, we do not duplicate any of the information that's already required by legislation. So we've removed any provision that duplicates a provision in the statute, and that's to ensure that it is clear that the statute prevails and that there isn't any inconsistent language. So just to provide an example of that, bylaw number 28, the current bylaw in section 6.1 defines what information is required to be on the public register related to a referral to discipline committee. And as you can see, it requires a number of different items to be posted on the public register. Contrast that with RHPA Code section 23.2, which also requires a notation of a referral to discipline to be placed on the public register, although it's worded somewhat differently and in a more general fashion talks about including the date of referral and the status of the hearing. So in this case, the proposal is that we remove any mention of discipline referrals from the bylaw provisions and defer to complying with the legislative provisions as set out in the Regulated Health Professions Act. In terms of what will happen to the existing bylaws, as mentioned previously, proposed bylaw number 60 is intended to replace all existing bylaws. And therefore, the current bylaws, the numbers of which are stated on the slide and can be accessed through the consultation page, will be repealed on January 1st, 2019, when bylaw number 60 comes into force. Now for circulation. The Regulated Health Professions Act requires that certain types of bylaws, those related to fees and elections, etc., must be circulated to members for input at least 60 days prior to being approved by council, and any input received from members needs to be considered by council prior to them finally approving the bylaw. In this case, although there are many provisions of bylaw number 60 that are not required to be circulated by the statute, council has decided to circulate the entire bylaw. First, because it is a consolidation of all the other bylaws and a new structure that's being proposed. Also because with the regulation of diagnostic medical sonography, we have a number of new members and applicants who may be interested in understanding the entire structure of the bylaw and having an opportunity to comment on them. And also this further supports council's commitment to transparency.
The consultation period for proposed bylaw number 60 will run until September 7th, 2018.
Comments may be left online using the online consultation forum. Any comments left in that forum will be posted to the consultation forum once they are cleared and determined to be in compliance with CMRTO's social media policy. Comments can also be emailed to the email address noted on the screen. It's important to note that questions received during the consultation period will be compiled and FAQs posted periodically during the consultation period to further inform members.